On to our next speaker for the morning, Ariel Utnik, who's the VP of Customer Success at Panaya, and he is going to be addressing a very important question. Where is the ROI? Justifying a renewal or upsell using actual customer usage data. Please welcome him.
So good morning, and it's great being in front of a full house. A lot of us talk about the onboarding and getting a quick value for our customer. And I would like to cover another point. 1 second. So before we start, let's start about Panaya. Panaya is a cloud-based solution where we provide help customer manage their ERP changes, both for the vendor and internal changes. The company was acquired a year ago by Infosys for $230 million. And a word about me. So I'm in love with this customer success arena. I'm here for already a few years, and I have a special passion about churn reduction and prevention. So I took the liberty to copy from the Customer Success Association the mission, and let's go through it. Build more value faster for your company in hours. It's clear. We're talking about it. We hear session. The recent session was about an onboarding, and we can prove it. And there where I stop. Can we prove it? Can we really quantify the ROI that our software provides to our customer? Question to you. How many of you heard the sentence from the customer that the value that the software provides them is less than the cost? Ever? Okay. How many of you knew customers that are heavily involved in the software? I wouldn't use the word abusing, but heavily using the software. But still, when you could not develop the conversation about we want to do an upsell, we want to do a price increase. How many of you faced it in the past? And the last, I think, do you really know how much money your software saves for your customer? Not around, not in marketing, not in benchmarking, by case per customer. Can you quantify it? How many of you know to do it? Good. So let's see what we need to do in order to answer our customer. Can I have a help with the technology over here? I want you to hear him shout. Good. If it won't work, we will use you. Can you just? No, just.
It's an embedded video, so just oh, there we go. This one's easy.
Guys, believe me, show me the money. Show me the fucking money. So how can we show the customer the money? How can we do it? There are 4 simple steps that I think we need in order to build a post-usage ROI. What is a post-usage ROI? So we all know what is a pre-sale ROI, right? It's clear. We come to the customer, we tell him story about how great our software is and how much money it will save him, and we never come back to prove it. So this is closing the circle. We want to build a tool that will evaluate after 12 months what was the real usage and quantify it to dollars. So we want to build this tool. We want to do a very good validation. We don't want to stand in front of a customer to claim something that nobody asked us to do and to be wrong. So the validation process is critical. We want to collect the data through the regular customer journey. There is no a specific step called post-ROI data collection. It should be through the regular process. And we want to know how to manage those meetings. Okay? Those meetings can be the difference between a success and a failure, the way we manage them, the way we set the expectation, and sometimes even the fact if we manage them. Because not always the post-usage ROI will give the result that you desire to. Sometimes it will show that the customer didn't got the real value he could. So first, it's a lesson for us that we need to come humble to the renewal point. And we should not use it all the time. Another hint, something that we are doing now, that we are able to calculate the expected ROI along the way. So instead of doing it after 12 months, we can do it after 6 months and try to extrapolate what will be the result at the end when we still have time to fix. So how do we build a post-usage ROI? If we have a pre-sale ROI, let's start by looking at this tool. They should talk the same language. If we use specific term on the pre-sale ROI, let's keep them on the post-sale. We need to think from the customer ROI meeting backward, okay? What we want to say, what point do we want to make, and what claim do we want to say. So everything comes from the meeting backward. The screen, what will be the first screen that the customer will see, what data he will see. And then think, how can we calculate this data? And not the other way around. We need to quantify the saving per activity and event, okay? We need to take whatever our software does and try to think what value it brings to the customer, what saving does it bring, and then try to quantify them. We don't want to invent saving. So if we are saving hours for software engineers, let's check out what is the average hourly rate of a software engineer. There are surveys over there that we should use. By the way, customer may say, okay, this is the average, but we pay less. Why? We outsource it to whatever. So we should be, our calculation should be easy to adjust. As I said, use formula with simple ability to change parameters. We want to generate the data from our application, from Totango, whatever. We have the real customer usage. As much as data as we have, as much as accurate the ROI can be. One advice from my experience, don't overshoot, okay? It's not a sales process. You are the trusted advisor of the customer, you are sitting in front of him, and you want him to trust you, okay? Don't underestimate, right? Don't do the other way around, but don't overshoot, don't oversell, be accurate. So this is building the tool. Now, what is the validation process that we did in Panaya? First, we start with our organization. If we build this tool, if we have now this data, and we can claim for this customer have that amount of saving, can we convince other in the company that? Let's start with other CSM, sales, and others, and make sure they buy it. And let's work out on the pitch. how we are convincing, how we are delivering this message. It's not less important than the data itself. Then when you feel comfortable enough, go to industry peers. Don't go to customer yet. Go to ex-customer or someone that doesn't use your software. Get their feedback. And then go to the most important part, and over here invest the majority of the time. Sit with the customer, record the session on WebEx, and listen at the end and see if you can have a good quote from the customer saying, this is making sense for me. This is what I need. Now I have the ability to justify the renewal. Unless you get those sentences, you are not ready yet. Once you feel comfortable with 2-3 customer validation, I think you are ready for start using the tool. And last but not least, at the end of the day, why you are doing that? You are doing that so the CFO will get this spreadsheet, will look in it, and will say, I'm okay to invest the money for next year on this software. Because those numbers come to prove saving. They are financial numbers that need to talk to financial people in a reliable way. So how we collect the data from the customer? So you need to start to collect the data from day one. There is no, as I said at the beginning, there is no milestone of post-usage ROI data collection. Should not be. It's across the way, starting from day one, starting from the onboarding itself, encapsulate it into your customer journey. When you're meeting the customer and maybe you're sending them some kind of a survey, put the right question that you need to know in order later on to be able to calculate it, and validate these numbers across the year because they may change. By the way, in the beginning, in the onboarding, the customer is in a very open position to work with you, to give you this data. When he gets into the renewal, when he smells that you are coming back and you want to upsell, or hear a salesperson talking about it, he's in a different position. So it's better to have it in the beginning and validate across the way. And now coming to the most important meeting. We collected the data, we feel comfortable with it, let's talk the right talk. Now we are going to talk in front of the customer how it should work. First, make it simple. Talk with numbers. If the customer KPI is dollar, talk in dollars, hours, time to market, think about their KPI, what your software does for them, why they bought the software. To save time, talk on time. To improve quality, talk about quality. To improve number of leads, talk about that. Whatever the KPI that was over there, this is why they bought the product, and this is the way to justify it. Define what is going to be a good outcome of the meeting before you start the meeting. What is the meeting goal? Do you want to secure renewal? Do you want to do an upsell? Do you want that they will introduce you to another department that you know that exists over there, and you need someone to give them a reason to endorse you? You need to define it before you get into the meeting. And you need to make sure that both the champion and the decision maker are involved and present. The best way you can ask for a request for yourself is to make sure that the champion helps you to prepare it. A good champion is someone that you can share with him the file, not surprise him in the meeting, tell him, okay, what do you think about it? Do you have any comments? Do you want to adjust anything? Do you want to present part of it in the meeting? Give him the liberty to be a hero in front of the organization, because if he's coming to the meeting to his manager or manager as the executive sponsor and say, here what the software did to our company last year, he's taking some kind of a credibility on it, and he will be happy to advocate it. Not all of them will be ready to do it. If they are, use it. Don't do a meeting when the audience is wrong. If the decision maker is not there, there is no point of doing this meeting, okay? It's useless. You will not get the result that you need. And a good meeting, as I said, should be both with the executive sponsor and the champion. and don't get into too much detail. I will show you an example of our Excel. There are many details over there. A good meeting for me will end up on the two first part that I will show you. I will drill into details only when needed. It will take the conversation into technical calculation rather than talking about value and next step. If you prepare the meeting good, the champion is convinced and he's defending it from the beginning, and I guess the executive sponsor will not ask to get into details. If it's not the case, they will say, okay, how did you got this number? Show me, explain me. Why did you use this parameter? No, we pay less. And then the meeting probably will not get into a conclusion of great value, we believe in it. Let's talk about next steps. I prefer to use Excel. So, presentation are more for sales. They are closed. They cannot be changed. Excel is more an engineering message. It's CFOs. We all love Excel. Keep it in Excel. It should look nice, but try to keep it in Excel. The message that it will deliver will be much more trusted. And don't leave the room before you confirm that you got your desired outcome. A, B, C, always be closing. You are leaving the room when you know that what you have been requested to achieve has been achieved, or at least trying to validate it. There is no way that you are going out of the room looking on your peer and saying, did they got it? Did we got the renewal? Are they open for an upsell? This is something that should be clear. Otherwise, it's an interpretation. I would like to share with you a very short demo. Okay, so this is the real Panaya fact sheet. And basically, we can see a regular conversation with the customer will be, dear customer, thank you for joining this meeting. We would like to present you the post-ROI usage of the last 12 months. As you can see, you have run 3 major events with Panaya that are being translated to more than 12,000 hours saving for your team, which we believe that are representing $672K. This is what you saved with Panaya in the last year. This is the value of the product. Or if the customer didn't kill you in this point, you would go to the next step and saying, we talked with your team, we understand what are going to be the event next year. So this year you did 4. Or next year we mapped how many events you're going to do each year on the coming 3 years. And those are the amount that are translated to $1.4 million saving. Our cost for 3 years is going to be $600K for those 3 years, which represent a saving for you of, I cannot see the numbers from here, $874K, which is 14 months ROI out of 33 months, with a very, very nice ROI time. In addition, dear customer, we have also took the liberty to calculate the non-direct savings, because if you use Panaya, those are the direct savings that you would get saving resources. But if you would not use Panaya, you are going to be exposed for a production incident that will cost you a lot of money. Think about if the ERP of Coca-Cola stopped working, no trucks will leave the factory, and no new bottles will be delivered to stores. How much money they are going to lose. We translate those amounts for you, dear customer, as another $18 million potential dollar of choosing not to do the right things. Ideally, the meetings stop here. If the customer understood what he saved, what are the projections for the 3 years that he gave us, what is going to be the cost, and what is going to be the saving, and we prepared it right, and the champion in the room is nagging in his head, saying, yes, these are the real numbers. A smart executive sponsor say, okay, let's talk business. Okay, let's move to the CFO. Let's maybe negotiate. Let's do whatever others, and we as customer success will move and say, this is the salesperson. We are up to here. We are talking about facts. We are not talking about dollars or negotiation. Here is the salesperson. You can close the deal with him. Others will ask for additional information that exists in the file, starting from what are the assets that exist. Customers love assets and love to understand what data exists in their tool. Think about one day without Salesforce. One day that someone will took Salesforce access from you. You are dead, right? The company is dead. You want to build assets within your application that are close to this feeling. And you would like to present them to the customer, if you have good one, that he will understand that he needs to continue to have access to this information. In addition, we have the detailed calculation over here. We will not go through it, but a very detailed calculation how we got into those crazy numbers that we presented at the beginning. And the list of parameters, starting from how much a developer costs, a tester costs, if we do it on-site or if we do it in remote. Everything is with parameters that can be adjusted easily in the file and adjust based on the customer need. So going back to the presentation, so just the summary. Customer success is to build value faster and prove it. If you build a value, but you're not able to prove it, not sure that the customer understands the value. In some cases he does, in some he doesn't. Prove it in a way the customer can quantify and understand. Talk with the customer KPI. Think what he admires as a value, not what you think is a value. I can share with you our experience of some months working with this tool. It's a game changer. It's a game changer because the discussion is different. In some cases, you cannot use it because the numbers are not good enough. Fine. This is what you did at the beginning. But on the 60, 70 cases where the numbers talk, you are in a different position, you are in a different discussion, and the customer really admires the fact that you not only did the pre-sale ROI, but also the post-sale ROI, and you are really ready to stand behind your mission and really to prove him the value. Thank you.